All right, good morning. My name is Connor Musichuk. I am one of the co-founders and CEO of Some Good People, Inc. And with me today to present is Cody Graham, co-founder and COO. More on our backgrounds in a few slides. And we're here to pitch you our product, Sogo, which is a social dining application, as Juan mentioned. And we wanted to kind of start things off with a simple question here that that is the ethos to the presentation. And it's, have you ever gotten stuck in a debate over where to eat? We definitely have, and in fact, over 8 out of 10 Americans have difficulty deciding where to eat. And so why is this? The data starts to point to that. There are over 700,000 merchants in the United States for people to choose from. We spend on average $4,000 a year on dining out, like my $15 lunches a day probably, and that translates to a $1.5 trillion food service industry. And just in our current addressable market today, there's an over 18 million restaurant-going population. So this is a market that we want to pay attention to. So what problem are we actually trying to solve here? We don't believe that there are too few choices. We believe that there are too many, and there is no app or platform out there that allows groups to have that situational, contextual recommendation for going out to eat, and they have to make, and plans are scattered over multiple apps and sites to actually go through with that experience. With Sogo, we want to remove decision fatigue with our AI vibe engine that personalizes those recommendations and built in an app and platform that supports what we're calling social dining. So there are a number of players in this space, obviously, with a market this large, and most of you are probably familiar with a lot of these companies. And what we have found is that, do you really want to use these? So for example, DoorDash is a great example of something where you kind of have to use it. No one kind of goes, I enjoy using DoorDash. It's very convenient. Same with Google. Most of these apps flood you with lists and information and force you to do the sifting, and most of this data is based on what is out there and not your situational or contextual space. And that is, again, what we're trying to solve with social dining.
All right, and at the heart of Sogo is our AI-infused recommendation engine. Blending our user's unique dining profile with contextual data, we aim to generate the perfect match for each user. Now, I want you to imagine you're inviting your closest friends, you're debating, you're struggling to find a place to eat. You're maybe juggling multiple apps, but instead, what you can do is find the perfect recommendation that satisfies the entire group. And as you're getting ready to go out, our agentic AI agent not only books the reservation for you, but sends an invite to everybody's calendar so it's there and you don't have to do any of the work yourself. Now, as your night's winding down, you had a great evening, great dinner, great drinks, you want to write that polished review. Our AI helps you and it captures the vibe and essence of that restaurant, and at the end adds it to a dime list. You can go back and recreate that experience with people in the future. So instead of debating where to go out to eat, you can just go. And that's the power of social dining. Now, how does Sogo make money? We have 3 distinct revenue streams. The first is our premium monthly subscriptions for our enhanced feature set. We also have polished in-app advertising, and we have anonymized data insights for our merchants and partners who can help drive business operations and improve outcomes. So right now we're in our beta program in our 2 home markets here in Charlotte and in Chicago, validating our idea and getting user feedback. And as we look to expand beyond these 2 markets, we are, we're trying to drive 3 key goals. 1, drive brand awareness. 2, convert that awareness to active users. And 3, to build a thriving community based around Sogo. So our team here, you can see myself and Connor. We have 2 other co-founders who unfortunately cannot make it. We combine deep business and technical expertise across disciplines, including finance, product and strategy, engineering, and UI UX design. Our team is fully committed to building our vision and looks forward to turning our long-term ambition using, our team is fully committed to building, turning this vision into a reality. Our roadmap reflects our long-term ambition, along with what our team can currently deliver. As we look to accelerate our beta build, we are working with a staffing partner to supplement our current talent pool and look forward to our product growth.
So for the finance nerds, we have a quick, cool Sankey diagram here. It's my favorite slide. We have a demonstrated ability to raise capital. So even earlier on, we were able to raise capital through 2 SAFE agreements. And then we've also have demonstrated founder commitment of about half of our current funding inflow. And this has led to tangible results for us. We've been able to set up a C Corp structure to establish us to take on future investment. We have the trademark. The trademark process is underway, and we're just waiting for proof of commerce there to kind of support our public launch. And then we've recently also onboarded a CXO who has really helped us advance our ideation on the design side. And as well as that, it's allowed us to further development to support our beta program initiatives, and we are continuing to evolve that, moving to our beta 3 program that we plan to launch in late winter of 26. So with that, our simple ask is a $500,000 raise through a SAFE agreement from an angel investment. And this helps us unlock our TAM that I mentioned earlier in the presentation for a full public launch. And there's a couple of scenarios here we have at various penetration rates based on the math that we have to go there. So with that, if you're interested, we have, and you want to be an early adopter, you can sign up for our beta. Just keep in mind that's a testing and a constantly iterating product. Visit our website to learn more or contact us directly. And then Cody and I will be at Dram and Draft tonight in South End. And if you want to come have a drink, learn more about us or the company, feel free to join us. Thank you.
Great job, both of you. So I'll start on the higher level. I thought you guys had a good pace how you spoke. I think you split up very well. I know you lost your words a little bit, and that's very normal. Here's what I would recommend to you. I don't think there is any need for sorries. I think everybody in the room understands you'll lose this, and I know it feels very uncomfortable if you're upfront and there is 10 seconds of silence. So you're trying to fill it. Just know you don't have to. I think everybody will be completely fine with you going, oh yeah, and our advantages are 1, 2, 3. I think that's completely fine. But great job. And I also love the slides. We're chatting about this a little bit before, where typically we are very used to kind of 2 slide decks. One being a pitch deck, less words, right? More focus on visuals, and then a circulation deck. And this is something that was interesting to me learning on this side. As an entrepreneur, I often send my deck afterwards to the investors I pitched. I had no idea where all that deck is going to go. On this side now, when I get a deck, chances are I forwarded this to 20 to 30 people. I'll forward this one to 3 restaurant owners I know, be like, hey, does this make any sense? Have you heard about this? I might forward this to a couple of friends, be like, hey, would you use this as a dining app? And I'll probably forward this to another 2 or 3 investors. I'm not going to put my words behind it, so we always tell people the deck you need to send us needs to work without your words. That investor on the other side is just going to read your deck and will tell me, this is shit, this doesn't work at all, without ever having listened to you, right? So make sure, so I love the deck over here. For a couple of suggestions, monetization, I would have loved if you go a little bit deeper for me into how much are you thinking to charge, right? Is it you going after quick serve restaurants that might have 50K in monthly revenues, and how much are you charging them? Or is it franchisees? Is it chains? Is it bigger ones? Starting to get an idea for what's the customer worth to you? A thing that you probably hear from a lot of investors in the restaurant space is there's always this question of, does customer acquisition really work? Is this small business, long tail? There's always these war stories out there of a number of them struggling, you know, making their numbers, cutting costs, etc. So I would love to get an initial idea of, right, how much is a restaurant worth to you? How much are the end users worth to you? And I would think from there, you could go into a market sizing. Another question that, as a fund, we often ask us is, how big can this get? Also, how big do the founders want this to get? Right? Is this a, hey, I'm going to start a business that will make 5 million revenue and be profitable? Or is this a business that I think I can drive to 50 million ARR in 5 years, right? Kind of give me a little bit of a North Star, give me some market sizing, something like that. My last feedback point would be on the race slide. I love that too. I think that looked very cool. The one thing I always tell people that's important, at least for me, is with the next race, I'm personally a lot less interested in uses of fund. My guess is it's payroll, right? That's where the money mostly goes. I'm interested in what does this race get you to in what time? Another thing we often talk about on this side is this idea of, is this a bridge to nothing? Or is this a bridge to profitability? Is it a bridge to you reaching 1 million ARR and want to raise a 5 million Series A next? If so, then I'll go with, you should probably try to get to 1.5 million because we know entrepreneurs are overly optimistic and you might rather achieve 80% of your plan than 100% of your plan. But that would be my one other feedback, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I'll pick up from there. Could you go to the goals slide? Yeah, so it's like roadmap. Yeah, there it is, yeah. Yeah, so just to be very direct, like I wouldn't follow up with you guys because it doesn't feel like you're kind of dialed in enough on what you need to learn with our $500,000. So these are cool goals, but there's very high altitude. And I was like waiting for you guys to kind of shift into a gear where it's like, okay, this beta that's coming out, like here are the 2, 3, or maybe 4 things that we're just dialed in on, right? Otherwise, if you're still talking in these terms and everything is still kind of 80,000 feet, I'm going to wait for you to come back in 6 months when you've already broken a bunch of stuff and figured out the 4 or 5 or 6 things that are breaking either customer onboarding or the interest from the merchant side or whatever. So I'd spend more time like going deeper as to what the beta or what your roadmap's going to teach you or what you're going to learn. And when even using those words like, hey, here's stuff we've learned, or here's stuff our customers or our merchant partners or merchant targets have taught us, and here's why we're doing it. I've said this a few times in the past couple of years maybe, but there are 2 comments I want to make. One is like, it feels like you're in more of a company building mode than you are in a product building mode, and that's usually like a negative for me at a seed ask. So it's a really, like, having seen this a lot of times and also done this myself as an entrepreneur, like if you build the company before you really kind of hit the product and find that product market fit, you're going to spend your time, doing trademarks and IP work, all good, but there's a time for that, and I just don't know if you're there yet. So that's why I'm thinking you'll have a lower hit rate on seed investors right now, is because it just feels like you're swimming too high. The second, and more on kind of the, call it the comfortability with the pitch, we've used the music analog a lot here. It's like when you're playing live music, like you have to know your part in your music, like you just, almost like it's reactive. So I would just say like, just know the content so well, you don't have to look at that screen, look at that. Like, that's why you're tripping on stuff, is because you're relying on visual cues. You know what to say, but you're asking your brain to multitask up here. Can't do that. Make it like the conversation tonight at the bar and just nail that so many times that it's like you're just playing that song by just almost memory, right? So that'll come with time. But yeah, I would say like, give me a little bit more substance on what you're going to learn with the money. Or to Martin's point, at Toby's point, excuse me, you remind me of a German friend named Martin, that's why. You're going to kind of get lost, and then it's going to be like, does this company need 1.5 or 2 million to battle those competitors? Like, I want to see you like really grind on why we need 500 now to learn this. Otherwise, you're going to get kind of boxed into a corner on like, wow, those are some big competitors. That's a big market. You only need $500,000 to get there. So yeah, I would tighten that up a lot if you can. And then kind of refresh the deck. And also, and I love the deck. It's actually really well done. Less is also more. I'll bet you could make this a better pitch by cutting some of the content somehow. I'm not sure why yet. I don't have a view on that yet. But that's kind of where I was coming, is like a lot of good substance there. This would be a good takeaway or send behind deck. Just be wary of where that's going to go. Toby's spot on. It's going to go to 30, 40, maybe 300 other people if you send it to 5 or 10 investors. So not a bad thing, but just be aware of that. Yeah. Could go for it. Yeah.
You want to get feedback, or we can get an audience question? We got another minute or so.
You want an audience question? Let's throw our feedback with questions. Somebody raise a hand.
I love this idea. I have 4 kids and we're always like trying to figure out where to go. I think you are marketing mainly to businesses and people in that way, but I think you have a whole niche market in just big families or schools or anything like that. But I guess my question is, Grubhub, Google, DoorDash, Trudy, Yelp, all of those competitors, those are big competitors. So maybe for me, part of the pitch could be not, because you're talking about driving brand awareness, maybe you could have some kind of connection to those. Like maybe you get as an addition to Google, an addition to Yelp, an addition to, DoorDash, because I'm already familiar with those. They already have my credit card. I'm doing that, on the days that I'm working to try and get food already. So I'm thinking instead of just, being your own market, trying to integrate and be like an add-on app to those or pull from those so that either you're getting that data already, because I think you have a lot of competitors, but instead of competing, like, link up with them is my kind of question. Like, so how, for me, like, how could you use that 500,000 instead of becoming brand awareness, because that's your number one goal? How can you become brand, like, adjoined, I guess, is my question.
Just to pile onto that point, like, being a category definer that's a big risk, right? So it's like, don't be afraid to take the risk, but I would say again here, like, I would dial this in. Like, this is very cool, awesome strategic thinking, but in an investor pitch where you might, let's say you're at a conference and you have 12 to 15 minutes to get 15 follow-up meetings. Like, I think you run too much of a risk of being like boil the ocean if you're in this world, which is, I think, kind of where your comment's coming from. Either be complimentary or dial it in a little bit more. And I would also, like, really pull on, and when you're talking to folks socializing, like tonight at the bar, like understand what social dining is so you can kind of put context around it. Because I think it's a cool idea, I just don't know what it means, right? Yeah.
All right, with that, let's give it up for some good people.